We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, you once again welcome to the King Dames podcast. And today I have with me a fantastic guest. This man is a man with, multiple abilities, multi-competent, and he is multi-talented. He is an intellectual and he is a businessman and he is a musician. Big welcome. Wildie the Wild. How are you, Wildie?
I'm good, bro. Thank you for having me here, bro.
It's really a pleasure to have you, my brother. Right. I know you. I first knew you as Wildie, even though I went to university with you. Right. And then I remember back in the days, you used to say Wildie the Wild, and
That
I
was
think
the name. Wow, did the
I think there
wow.
was a day I called you. I think that there was a day I called you. I don't know, maybe when you were in Cyprus or something, right? And then you did not know who was speaking, and then I was like,
Yeah,
Wildie the Wild, and you're like,
it just
oh,
clicked.
this first thing was go way
That was
back,
what clicked.
That
Yeah,
was what
the
clicked,
face
and then
didn't
you
click, but that statement clicked, bro.
Wildie the Wild,
You know the way you used
it,
to call me then. Immediately you called me, and just
you
it
knew
just
it.
clicked that yes, I
You
know this
just
guy.
knew. You knew I was the
Yeah.
one. Interested, interested. So, who is
Mm-hmm.
Temidayo Akinuli? Who is Temidayo Akinuli?
Okay, let me take it back. Let me take it back. Tim Akinli is a Yoruba boy who hails from Idori, Ondo State. I'm an Ondo boy, and I grew up in Ibadan, Oyo State, and I later on went for my university education in Obafemi Awolowo University,
The
and
greatest.
so so after I finished my university, I went for my NYSC up north in Sokoto,
Oh, wow.
and I decided, I didn't want to go initially, but I decided to go because I've had this affinity for exploration, so I didn't mind.
Dora the
Um,
Explorer.
yeah, I had just had to go, like, wherever it is, I'm going to experience it, yeah, and it's going to add one or two. So from there, when I finished, I moved to Lagos, which I started doing my music thing, which I'd been doing right from time. So Temidaya Akini is, like I said, a Yoruba boy, a Christian, and a businessman, a songwriter, um, A&R. I do everything, I just try to, you
So,
understand?
so it means I was very correct, at the beginning when I said this man is a multi-talented person. Interesting. So, I have always known you as D the Wild, right from OAU. How did that name come about?
Yes. So the initial name wasn't just Wildie. It wasn't Wildie Zoe. It was Wildie Leo. And
Wow.
I got it from the okay, I had some friends who used to call me Survivor because then they know they see me everywhere, every gig, I'll be there. So then I had not even had a name. So I was just thinking that what can I use? Like I wanted a name that meant something. So I thought of Wilder Leo, like it's just like Pantera Leo, like a fierce person. Yeah.
Like a zoological name.
Yeah, fierce. Like you just don't think about it. Okay, this is we need to. Okay, it's doable. Okay, let's do it. So
Hmm.
the name just came, and I just liked it, and I asked someone, and they said, yeah, it's okay. I've not heard anybody called Wild. You can use it, and it stuck.
Wow.
Stuck fast.
Interesting, interesting. So why did Leo? So how come Leo left and then in OU we used to call you Wild did the Wild. I guess Simbal, MC Simbal used to call you Wild did the Wild. And
Yeah.
then Simba was like one of my very first friends, in OAU days. And then I think he introduced me to you. I think you guys were probably like roommates or something.
We were
And then he
roommates, and
introduced me.
it was
Yeah.
my very very good friend. We're classmates too.
Yeah, you guys studied geography, right? And
Yeah.
interestingly, I love geography a lot as a person. I think that's probably one of the things that made us get along. Very interesting story about myself. Quick one, right? I used to love geography so much, growing up in secondary school. Even when I wrote JAMP, right? I scored
Mm-hmm.
88 in geography. Like I loved geography so much. Like I always wanted to explore the world, go to the geographical monuments, historical monuments in the world, right? And then there was some time when I just finished secondary school and I was in some government school, right? And going around the environment, and I saw that they had an abandoned library.
Hmm.
Guess what? Like I went into the abandoned library and I stole a book from the library, and that book was a book on physical and human geography.
Okay.
You can imagine, like for a child to steal a book, all right, and what would the book
You
be
wanted to
about?
know what was in that
And
book.
yeah, yeah, I always wanted to know more about the world, places, different places in the world. You get it right, and then that has like always like inspired me, going forward. Recently, I think last one I traveled to Morocco, right, and when I was checking around a lot of those geographical monuments, right, I remembered some of the spaces I'd seen
You
in
had
that
seen
book
in the book.
from way back. I
Yeah.
was like, wow, like childhood influences actually go, a way along through a person's life. You have
Yeah.
like certain interests, right? And then you always like pursue those interests,
I build on
and
it and all.
yes, as you go forward. And speaking of
Yeah.
childhood influences, that leads me up to my next question to you, right? So who were your early life influences, and how was childhood and growing up for you?
Um, Growing up for me was I grew up in a family of um with five kids, and I I was the last born. So I grew up with my elderly ones already in maybe high school or about to get to high school at least. So um I had the opportunity to actually have some space to explore. My dad used to play a whole lot of different kind of sounds, from Fela to Bob Marley to Paul Simon to Dolly Parton, um, Shaka Chaka, all over the world. So I grew up with music, and I grew up with my dad waking us up with an Orlando War song and him
Oh,
dancing to
oh,
wake us up.
my
So
father used to play that as well.
yeah, so I learned
Orlando, what's he
um,
do? Oh,
my growing up, I had the affinity for music, and I had affinity for musical instruments. But at the
oh,
same time, I loved at that time I used to want to be an Air Force officer or a military personnel.
why?
So
Why?
yeah, so growing up, I didn't make a choice. I just continued um following both, having affinity for both sides. So I joined the choir. At a point, I was the chapel prefect, and I was in charge of the choir. So I had the ability to learn reading musical notes, about learning how to play the guitar, and I learned a little bit about how to play the piano. So then it was cool. I attended a private school, All Saints College, Ibadan, and you know after then I got an admission into OAU, and I wanted to study economics though. But
You wanted to
talking to
study
my
what I
dad,
studied.
yeah, but my dad was like, okay, before then, they didn't give me economics, they gave me geography. So I wanted to wait a year and still study economics, or just go to the NDA straight up. So my dad advised me to go for the geography, and linking the geography to, I can still move into the NDA to get a short course and you go into Air Force. So I was like, no worries. So when I got to OAU, first of all, my affinity for the military side of me made me join the man of war. The musical part of me, let me give you this story. I was in, do you know, you can remember Awolowo, no, Faj or
Oh, okay,
Faj
Fachi.
or Faj.
Yeah.
So this perpetual light choir, which is from the Catholic Church, we had in OAU, they used to have their choir rehearsals. So I was on my bed that day, I was sleeping, and I was hearing this choir sing. I was like, where are these people coming from? So I started I got out of my room, I started tracing the voices because I think they were having, it was close to the festive period, so they were rehearsing. So it was just so melodious that I had to like trace them. And I think I was on 100 level then. So I was still new. So I went to ETF. You know, is it Fudge before ETF? Yeah, or Owl before ETF?
It is Fudge Owl ETF. ETF is the last.
Okay,
Yeah,
it
it's the
was
last one.
Owl. It was Owl.
Yeah.
So I traced them to ETF. I didn't see them, not knowing they were actually above the room I was sleeping initially.
What
So
the?
when I went back to my hostel and I just checked up and I saw them. Then that day I joined the choir. So I was doing both, and um I was studying my course normally. So my free time, we do have drills in the morning for the man
Manual.
of war, and
Manual drills.
weekdays we do have rehearsals for choir. So those were the things taking my time as at my early years in OAU. Yeah. So afterwards I start recording songs. I started going to the studio. My first producer was Brown Noise. I don't know if you know Brown Noise. He was one of the early producers back then. He used to record for Black Bones too at some point.
Oh, I
You
remember
know,
Black Bones from OE days.
yeah. So I started recording from him, started performing in school. Then I met Simbal in class. He was
MC
into
Steamboat.
entertainment. He just gingered me up, and every show he was going to, it was taking me along. And I recorded a song, and he told me, okay, we should do a song together. And like, okay, I like your voice, you can sing, bro, let's do a song. Then for every show he's performing, he makes sure I perform in that show, and I performed the song with it together. So then it was actually fun, you know um although there could be distractions. There could have been that, okay, there were distractions, let me just put it that way. you know Handling music, and back then OAU, it got to a point whereby the industry was like the outside industry, where you have graphics designers working hand in hand with show event promoters, working hand in hand with artists, with MCs. So we had all those things in place back in OAU then, where there's
Mhm.
competition, performing to 5,000 students. You have to wow them. You have to make sure your stage performance is top notch, to make sure that you know they don't boo
We,
you
we
off
had
the
we had
stage.
like we had like our own mini entertainment industry
The
in OA.
mini entertainment industry
Yeah,
grooming
look at
and
the
brewing
amphitheater
everybody.
performances. It was crazy.
So, you know, those period um were the period of me figuring out, you know, okay, what's it? Okay, I'm studying. Which direction is my life going to? But what I knew was that the more I was going from 100 level to 200 level, my love for music started growing. So I started listening to music more. I started listening to other type of songs more. And the kind of songs I was always drawn to, more or less, songs uh songs that has deep melody, and it might be slower tempo, it might be faster tempo, it might be anything. But I love songs that moves the soul. So as I was from 100 level to 200 level to 300 level, I started realizing, okay, yeah, I actually want to give a more percentage of myself to this course. even though I was still making sure I was attending my classes. Because if I don't attend class, hey, oh, my mom, my mom is a teacher, yeah. I love my mom so much. That woman is the strongest lady in this, and she's the sweetest. She, you know, don't you might be watching a movie with my mom now. You guys are enjoying something. I just tell her like, tell this child to go and read. The next thing, go and
African
take your book.
parents.
She wish she would change. Or so I knew the kind of mom I had. I had to make sure I was keeping up with the classes, even though I was, my heart was going elsewhere.
In another direction, you had to keep the grades up,
I
right?
have to keep it up. So after then, I went, like I said, I went for service, and I had to still pursue the music when I got to Lagos, and which that my movement, my Lagos journey, formulated a huge growth stage in my life, which to date I would always thank God for. So in short, I can just put it that way.
Interesting, interesting. So I remember that you yourself, MC Simbal, and even myself, like all in OAU, you did really well academically, right? I remember you finished with a second class upper. Simbal as well, finished with a second
Yeah.
class upper. Myself, remember I was an MC back in OAU, and I remember MC Simbal and Arole, they gave me my first role as an MC back in school, right? But then I
Mm-hmm.
always knew for myself that I was not a comedian, right? I was not like the core entertainer, right? That I am like a proper corporate guy, right? Like the kind of
Mm-hmm.
talents, communications talents that I had, right, sort of suited a more structured environment. And then, I decided to focus on my studies and still like enjoy the environment. And like I used to anchor things like seminars, structured events, right? And then it's
Yeah.
good to see how things are panning out for all of us. A lot of great guys,
Yes.
went to OAU and doing well, in their respective fields of endeavors. It's really, really fantastic to see. But then, would you like talk us through your academic background, right? And like the achievements you've made academically, because like we used to say in OAU, you're an biggie way, that is a tree of books. So aside from the musical aspect of you, you're like a very well educated, widely and well read person. So can you talk about the academic side of you?
Um, my academic journey started from Ibadan. Like I said, I attended Seed of Life High School, and moved to All Saints College, which was a missionary school. And afterwards, I did my jam. And luckily for me, the year I did my jam, both my jam, my WAEC, and my NECO, I passed everything, because a year before I had GCE. I did GCE, and just to test myself, which I actually passed. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can actually take it. So, like I said, the course I wanted, they didn't give it to me. But cut the long story short.
Yeah, but they
So
gave it to me anyways.
yeah, they gave it to
Because
you.
you because, because you
you
wanted, I
you
got.
you took the spot. So in OAU, OAU as it is, you have to read. You
Highly
have to read.
competitive school. Highly
Highly
competitive.
competitive. Even I had to. Okay, there were in the first year was very okay. Then you're coming with speed. You're coming with the whole energy. Then getting to year three, you start facing the lecturer issues and this and that. But in OAU, irrespective of what you're doing, just make sure you are on your toes, because there are some people that you see them, they are unserious, they are out there, you don't know they're actually, they are fire, they are reading. Like someone like Simba now, like someone like Simba,
Yeah.
if you think because you've seen him here and there he's not reading, that's a lie. That's a lie. He knows when he reads.
Yeah,
So, you
exactly.
know, I was after then. Okay, in my secondary school. Let me go back to my high school. Um, I had courses that I liked, and I like I said when I was the chapel prefect, part of the responsibilities that I had was to go represent to school in Bible quiz. You know, you have Bible verses or Bible chapters you have to cram on your head and you have to drop. And you know, you have competitions whereby you're facing the next school in all those quizzes. So those are actually the interesting, those are the memories
Mm.
like I have of my childhood. That actually, thank God, yeah, I actually I got involved in some things that I can still remember, and I was like, yeah, they were actually fun and
But do you think those
challenging.
things actually, build your character?
Yes, it does. It does. It really does because there are some things that personally some people would do and they'd be like, me, I'll just be like, nah, it doesn't really. So there are some yeah, it's just like grooming. There's no way those things will not have their own effect on someone's growth on how you eventually turn, because those were the things you've put in your head when your brain was still young, open, trying to figure out everything. Those were the things you were feeding your brain. So yeah, and personally, I can see that it actually has influenced my life in a whole lot of ways. So in OAU, like I said, I was able to handle the educational part, and thank God, even though I had to retake a course, which I think the course was from your department still. It was
Why? Why
SSC,
so why why so many
was
rejections from
SSC,
economics, man?
was SSC 101, statistics,
Oh,
and
yeah, the statistics course.
106, 106.
106, that was mathematics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, matrix and the lights.
yeah, that was mathematics. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
this that
remember.
course
I
that course did me
remember.
dirty.
I have
So
the memory
what
of
I
an
did was
elephant.
I left the course. I didn't retake the course. I left it, and I didn't put it. I didn't add it on my any of year two or year three course, because as at that time I was already getting involved with music and everything. So now I knew if I add another extra course on it, it would demand more time, and I would not be able to cope. So on the last year, I wanted to add it on the last year, but unfortunately, that last year had an extra course on it, and I could not add more than the unit.
Yeah, there's like a maximum number of units that you can do
Yeah,
in a
so I had to
semester.
retake it, which
That's terrible. And it's a second
yeah,
semester course, so it means you'd have to
that
sit
and
for
that's
the
a
first
second
semester,
semester
and
course.
that is terrible.
But you know how God now helped me. That was the year they were merging convocation. So
Oh,
even when I finished, I still had the same convocation with everybody because
wow, wow,
they were
wow.
merging convocation.
All things work together for good.
Afterwards, I went to Sokoto. I still taught geography in Sokoto.
Interesting, interesting stuff.
Yeah, I learned a little Hausa in Sokoto, just communication, day-to-day communication, buying stuffs. Then I had no we had no issue with Boko Haram or anything or any of those stuffs. It was actually safe and they were actually warm. I learned a whole lot about that period of my life. Actually taught me a whole lot about how how human we actually are, away from all this scientific developments and everything. There's still people on this earth that are still living as bare as you know a whole lot of years ago. There are still people that are not in this our space, that we actually used to think maybe our
Brought you
space
closer
is
to nature.
huh?
Brought you closer to, basically brought you
brought,
closer to
brought me
nature.
closer to nature. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So it was actually cool to actually see that part. So when I finished serving in Sokoto, I had to come back to Lagos because I was done doing what I was doing, and I didn't have the plan of staying. So I was in Lagos then. After a while, I think I worked in Lagos. Yeah, I worked in Lagos. When I got to Lagos, I worked. And after a while, I got signed to a label, and that period, it was all music. It was all
Wow.
music about my life, everything, the whole movement, all music. Then after I was out of the label, not I think it was I think it was 3 months after, I had just had a change of mind that I can't just be like this. I can't leave myself and not have some self improvement or self development away from music. Yeah, away from music. I just had that thought, which I know we'll still delve into those areas though. So I just had to like go get my masters and secure that, and build myself. There were a lot of things I still needed to do in terms of personal growth building, mental growth building, um, financial growth building, financial management, a whole lot of steps I needed to do, which I'm actually now grateful I was able to realize that, yeah, I needed all these things as a human being, you know. So
Interesting. And
yeah,
wow,
yeah,
so,
go
so,
on.
so you did a master's in some university in Cyprus, right?
Yeah,
And what was your master's on? Like, what was the discipline, the specialty of your master's?
okay. Um, let me link the time I left the label in Nigeria and the time I decided to travel. So now, I studied geography, yeah, and the part of geography that excited me the most was the explorative part of it, the whole Air Force thing, the whole getting to know places. So I had the feeling of, okay, what course could I do that still, I wanted to do marketing, I wanted to do management. Okay, at the same time, I still have affinity for geography, tourism, getting to know different places and all. So when I checked the brochure of the school, I saw they had tourism and hospitality management, and under the courses, I saw that they had management and they had marketing. So which they and under the tourism they had the uh the clothes selling part, like a hotel boutique part. So there were different areas I could actually benefit from. I just decided, like, okay, yeah, I think this is the course for me. Just use one stone to kill different bird, which was a very, very great step, because I had to learn a lot about business, about marketing, the forward
Interesting.
integration, backward integration, brand differentiation. I had to learn a whole lot about how to handle a business, because the tourism space too is a business, is an industry on its own. And it still consists of music itself. It's still intertwined with arts and culture. It's still intertwined with the hotel management and the like. So I just felt that was a good course for me, which it actually is. So after then, I decided to move here to UK, because here, it gives the opportunities to, you know, um, it gives you more opportunities to choose from. Let me just put it that way.
Exactly, and anything you get to put your mind on doing, you have the opportunities, right? The right opportunities to be able to execute them. It's a nice space to be in. So, talking about your passion for music, and on if we went randomly into Apple Music, right, and we searched the word Wildie, right, one song pops up, and that song is titled Soweto. So, what was the inspiration behind, yeah, Soweto?
Okay. Um, Soweto is a song that was actually originally written by Fireboy DML.
That's another
So
great Ife
yeah,
product,
I've,
another
I've not
OE
I've
boy.
not said I've not said this to anybody before, But
Interesting.
you know,
So, just spoiler alert, right? You guys first heard this on the Kingdoms podcast. So, continue, my brother.
so let me go back to OAU days while we were in school in the oil industry, because we just talked about that briefly. So while we were in OAU, we had other artists too doing the crafts and everything. We had Zamora, we had Black Bones, we had Fireboy, DML. We had a whole lot of guys doing their things, comedians too, Aruli, and Simbad and the likes. So after we left school, back in school, Fireboy and I were quite close. At a point we're roommates, and afterwards there was a day he was playing some songs for me, and I knew Fiber was a very, very good writer. So we were fond of freestyling. I play the guitar, he sings, Zamora sings. We just do our thing and just freestyle. So that day he played some songs, and I liked the song. I liked a couple of the songs, but that very one I liked it, and I was singing it. And I was like, "Yeah, I want the song. Like, I like the song." And we spoke about it, and he was like, "Ah, no worries. Like no worries. Like, you can have the song and all." And um, it was actually produced by Zaki. It was actually produced by Zaki,
The
because then,
Is it the northern Nigerian singer turned producer,
yeah,
right?
Amuje, yeah,
Yeah,
you people know him
yeah.
as Amuje. He
Wow.
produced the Fireboy Rama song. So
That's an
we,
OG in the music
is an
industry.
OG too. Is an OG. So um, we, because we're all roommates too, and we're all songwriters, and we picked a date, and he came to my side, and Zaki too was on my side. Then in Lagos, we recorded it in um, second toll gate in Lagos, our estate then. So we recorded it, and I just did it my way and delivered it my way, and it was cool. And I, I told you I used to listen to different genres of songs, including South African song.
Oh
When I heard
wow,
the song,
interesting.
the song meant much to me, because he had the he had this historical connection with me, because of the kind of songs I used to listen to when I was young. I used to listen to Miriam Makeba, Hugh Masakila, even
Yes,
Paul
Mascara.
Simon's Graceland. I used to listen to
Oh,
it when I was young.
how about
So
Lucky Dube?
Lucky Dube, yeah, Lucky Dube, Chaka Chaka,
That's
Brenda Fassie.
yeah. Brenda
So
Fassie, I think she's
I
big
used to
now.
listen to those.
Yeah.
So I
Wow.
just liked the song, and
Nostalgic experience, bro.
yeah, it was. It was. So that's actually the story of how Soweto was made. And it's a beautiful song, which today I love the song so much.
Oh, wow, interesting. So speaking of South Africa, right? South Africa. When you look at the Spotify analytics for this podcast, right? The third, the country with the third highest population of listeners to the Kingdoms podcast is South Africa.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, interesting. I think number one is the UK, number two is Nigeria, number three is South Africa, and I think some other countries are coming up, popping up. The likes of France, the likes of Switzerland. They're popping up in the analytics. So we're going global. We're going
Nice.
global.
Global, yeah.
On social media, there's a lot of fuss, made about Nigerian men and South African women. They're always like, oh, when a South African woman gets into a Nigerian man phase, like Nigerian men are like really caring, they spend a lot of money for South African women. Have you ever been in your own South African women phase?
No, 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 no. I've not.
Okay, well,
I've
well,
not.
then you're just thinking this Soweto song, right? To rep
No,
the
no.
culture.
I just love them generally. I just love South
Oh,
Africans. I love their culture. Back in the days, they started this infusing cultures into music, so you can feel what they are feeling. See Sarafina, you could actually feel the pain in the song. You could actually feel the pain in every lyrics. Even their culture, the dance and everything. So it's I'm a kind of person that if you go to my page now, there are some two things you will know. There are two things you will notice. This guy likes fashion, and this guy likes Afrobeat.
Interested.
Those are the two
Afrobeats.
things you'll
But
be able to pick from my page while watching my videos. So that's actually what I exhibit.
Afrobeats is a massive movement. But before we talk about Afrobeats, let's talk about Amapiano because that is, the biggest musical movement from South Africa right now. What are your thoughts on, on the global acceptance and movement of Amapiano? And do we
I
expect
believe,
to hear any Amapiano sound from you, going into the future?
yeah. All these years I've actually been recording. That's something I never stopped doing. I never stopped writing. I never stopped recording. I've been recording and I've been listening to sounds, listening sounds. So definitely I'm going to this I'm saying for the first time because I've been away for a couple of years from the musical scene, which we'll still talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah. It means you're preempting one of my next set of questions. Okay, no problem. Since you're preempting it, right? No problem because that's
We'll
I
still
can see
talk
my
about.
script right here in front of my laptop, right? And that is the very next question. Let me read it out to you.
Okay,
Why
just
the
hit me
pause?
with the
Why the
question.
pause? Why the pause in your musical career after the Soweto single? So tell us. You think it's like you're reading my script, right? Okay, preempt me. Tell us.
uh why the pause in my musical journey, yeah.
Yes, because
Okay,
you definitely have been recording, but you have not been publishing. So tell us,
I've not been
let
publishing, yeah. So
the fans
yeah,
want to know.
there's a deliberate reason for that, a very deliberate one. The last time um I spoke about me realizing I had um in the music space there's some requirements, yeah.
Okay.
And apart from the you being able to record, apart from you being able to um perform as an artist, you're good, you know how to write. There are some knowledge you have to know. That's why some people feel, oh, they don't know how the Nigerians do it. There's a way that's been done. There are some things you must know personally. So after I got out of my label, I decided I wanted to improve myself because I knew personally there's some things I needed to know, and I knew the time frame I had in learning some fundamental things. So I decided to go for my master's, which there was no way I could have been pushing my master's and my song heavily since I wasn't even in the country. So
Okay.
I had to travel to Cyprus to get my master's. And when I was done, all through those times, I was recording. Some days I dropped snippets and all, but I needed the managerial knowledge of the music space. You know,
Okay.
Before I traveled, I realized that when I was on my the former label, there were a lot of things going on in my head. There were a lot of pains going on in my heart that I could not voice out to anybody. I wasn't even in the
Hmm.
space of anybody listening to whatever I wanted to say. So now, after I left, I just had to sit down like, okay, yeah, I'm not the only person who goes through this kind of thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
There are a lot
Like,
of people
yeah.
to going through this kind of thing and they can't say, but you just have to keep moving. So I just realized that, okay, now, what were the reasons why these things happened to you? What were the things you needed to know? What were the lessons learned? Okay, now, for you not to go face that same thing again, and for you to think in a wider set, wider, just think in a wider picture, you need some self development, which made me go to my masters. And after then, um, I I started doing some little businesses myself. So, which would lead me to another section of the whole story, which is the lead music group section of the whole story.
Okay, but then before we get to the lead music group, right? Because apparently that's the next thing on my agenda, right? But then let's speak a little bit about the the depression that musical artists actually face, and then I think they've been hit with like a lot of mental pressure in this age and time, that if you're not in the limelight, if you're not in the mainstream, or probably you probably hit some sort of stardom at some point, and then you are not selling as much as you used to be, right? Um, they bring up like different antics, and some of them go into like full on depression. Like, what? Why do you think that is happening? In recent time.
The reason is this: basically, let's look at ratio, um, ratio statistics. The ratio of record labels to number of artists will be like 1 to 99. You understand? So now there are some people that are actually do not have anybody to push them. They've invested so much time, so much money, so much of their life into that craft. And it doesn't even seem as if they're doing what they're doing right to get to some point. Some people don't even have, some people feel they need some people to get somewhere, and the knowledge of actually getting there, they don't have it, but they know they have the talent. Now, the frustration of spending each year chasing that same dream, not feeling you've actually achieved enough, and you have pressures around from yourself, you have pressures from your family, you have pressure from your mom who loves you so much and wants you um to be a very successful person. She's supporting your craft, but at the same time she's scared. You yourself, you're scared, because even if you get to the top, you'll still be scared of not falling.
Rome was not
You
built in a
understand?
day.
Yeah. So there are a lot of people who actually fall into that when they've tried a whole lot, they've tried, they feel actually they've tried. We don't know God's time, we don't know God's plan. So we only walk, we only do whatever we're doing in that vacuum of that blind spot of okay, that hope, consistency, and if I put in the work, it's gonna get done. But you know, it, that's for some people that if they put in the work, pray, and they are consistent, the result's gonna come. Now, let's say 20% gets that arrangement right, and the result comes. There are like 80% that actually have been on the underground for years that have not even been seen one bit. So a whole lot of people actually go through that when they have wasted their time a lot on that same craft, and it doesn't look bright on the other side too. Which other way will I go? Okay, if this music doesn't work, what will I do?
So why is
So
it that
now
people
you
don't have a plan B? Yeah, you should have a
yeah,
plan
plan
A, plan
B.
B, and plan C.
Yeah, plan B, like is like out of every artist in Nigeria, the real truth is like if everybody cannot blow, everybody cannot. No, it cannot. It's that's a rule. Some people will, definitely a whole lot will. So now there are a lot of people that actually do not have a plan B, never planned ahead, and by the time it happens, then you would actually be stuck. Then you'll be wondering, okay, where do you go? You understand? So I didn't want to be in that situation too, because to me, the way I see this thing, music is one of it. But I don't want to, because of that one, kill my other abilities, my other energies, my other probabilities. So I just had to like look
That's some,
outside the box.
that's that's some
Let me
mathematical
get
thinking there.
let me get more knowledge. Let me improve myself. Let me give myself more options. let me give myself more
Interesting.
options in life rather than just one option, which was what I went for, and which
Interesting.
is what
I
I
hope
believe.
yeah,
What?
I hope young up and coming artists are listening to you, listening to this advice.
Yeah. So
It's
there are some people that will actually blow. They will actually blow on TikTok. They will actually blow, and after some time, they won't pop again. That too is another stage of it. The stage of, okay, people that don't even get to blow. Some people get to blow few months, and some people get to blow like a couple, like 1 or 2 years, and still don't have a plan B. So it's just like, um me just thinking outside the box, like, okay, yeah, I can't allow this to happen. If I don't do this, this will happen. But since I've known that it will happen if I don't do it, then I'll be very, very funny if I don't do what I'm supposed to do when I'm supposed to do it. You
interesting.
get that angle of the whole perspective.
I do get
So
that
now,
perspective.
if I want to get to a point that if I want to drop my songs, I will drop my song with ease. I don't need the song to survive. And if I drop
Interesting.
the song is doing well, I still have my money to promote. And if I have a deal with someone, I'm not staying in your house. We have a deal. We'll have a deal. Yeah. It's not that my morning food is based on one person. No. So, those are the things that those are the realities of the what's going on. Like, okay, you have to depend on that person for, if you don't have another source of income as an artist, you know that means if finances stop from that line, that means that's the end. You don't want to put yourself in that situation whereby one person determines either you eat or you don't eat, or you wear your clothes or you don't wear your clothes.
Regardless of whatever you do in life, like it's never a good idea to be overly dependent on any one person, right?
Yeah, I know there will be
That can
situations, there will be
get
times
you.
whereby you are in that phase, you are pushing hard, 100% an artist. Yeah, that is a normal working routine. But at the same time, I'm just saying, like, um it's not everybody that can have a label that can actually hold your shoulders completely, to actually push you completely. Some labels can only push your music and push like maybe 60% of what you need. If you need to do other things outside the box, you still have to know how you're going to sort it. And if you are not popping yet and you are still in the phase of the label pumping money, you have to do everything right. At the same time, you have to they will be pumping money into your project, and you need to actually other things you need to do. You have to sort it yourself, because you can't go and keep disturbing them for stuffs when you know that
Oh yeah,
they
livelihood.
are busy investing on you. So all those things are what actually gets artists like, okay, you see the artist on the TV, and you just see him in real life, you realize that, like, you know he doesn't even have much. You understand?
There's a lot
So
of fake life, in the musical industry, right? But
yeah.
speaking of labels, let's talk about the Lead Music record label. What's up with Lead Music record label?
So Lit Music Group is just the record label arm of Lit Music Entertainment Limited. Lit Music Entertainment Limited is still involved in with shows. So right now that we are now in the UK, we do you know Runda?
And that
Yeah,
name rings a bell.
we had the artist Runda, and when his contract ended, we moved to the UK. So
Okay.
we had a show
Are you like a
collaboration.
co-founder? Are you like a co-founder of the Lead Music record label?
No, I'm just the label manager. I'm the
Okay.
one in
Okay.
control of the operations of the label and everything.
Okay.
So that phase again, I didn't put that phase in. While I was in Cyprus, I had the opportunity of actually handling lead music, which I took the responsibility because that was another phase of the whole entertainment industry that I had not had the experience in. Remember, I had the experience of being an artist, yeah,
Okay.
which every if you ask me now about what happened about when I was in my label, I will tell you something as an artist. Now, Leap Music Group gave me the opportunity to actually see things from the record label point of view. I'm able to balance differences now. I'm able to actually see when this person, is saying this is okay. I'm able to see from the investor's perspective too, which I can say all these things are, y- you know, I didn't I might just be away from the frontline scene of the whole music thing, but I'm making sure I'm learning what I'm supposed to be learning. That's why I said I'm in the self-development phase. So I was able to actually see a whole lot of flaws too, and a whole lot of dangerous terrain you can actually run into. Actually able to see how the real promo actually works, what the labels actually go through to actually plug you all around, the kind of connect and plugs they have to pull, the kind of on your toes they have to be on their toes for you. Your own responsibility is just to get the songs and everything. The labels must make sure they actually create that pathway for you,
But
which
a lot of musicians don't see this,
they
hard work
don't
that goes
see
on behind
things
the
this
scene.
way because sometimes you are asking your label for something of this and the label is already thinking of something that would skyrocket you, but you're there disturbing them for another thing, and all those things are actually popping up and everything, you know or you have maybe any kind of issues. If you ask the label, they will have their side. If you ask the artist, he will have his own side. So um
Exactly.
I've been able to actually get like a round
Like a well-rounded perspective, yeah, from both sides,
perspective
right?
of it,
Yeah,
even the marketing side, even the online marketing, and all those things. These are courses I still
interesting.
took. So when I decide to actually emerge, I'll be fully ready. I will know what to do, where to do, what not to do, what to listen to and what not to listen to.
Hmm. Interesting. But speaking of
Because
emerging, right? Like, are we expecting any song from you anytime soon?
yes, bro, yeah, yeah. There's
Okay.
something about music. Music will never leave you. Something dragging your neck, like dragging your neck. It will never.
I tell people music is the food to the soul, right? And it's quite interesting. I interviewed a guest earlier today, and he is actually into music business. So he owns his own musical business company. So he was talking about sometime when he was promoting Lady Donley. You know Lady Donley?
Yeah, Lee Donley. I know her.
So the previous guest was Mayo Abalogun. And then at the end of the podcast, you will see the question he left for you. You'll see the question left for you. Well, I'm interested. So on your profile on Instagram, I snuck at your profile and then I saw
Yeah,
you are a KYC and AML analyst. Can you like
yeah.
briefly talk about this and what the impact of this course would have on the society?
Okay. A KYC analyst is KYC. Let me break it down for people that don't know KYC. KYC is know your
Know your
customer,
customer.
and AML is anti-money laundering. And my major responsibility is to make sure that whatever customer a company is having is actually who he says he is. And this is one of the ways that we use in tracking down terrorism or money laundering all around the world. So before the money gets into circulation, because there are different aspects of it, we have the integration, and where you integrate the money into the system. So that point in time, before we get to the integration part, we have to have been able to see the red flag, because some people, you launder money and you use it to buy, Bitcoin, or you just flip it or buy cars and sell the cars. Before you know it, the money has landed in another country. So it's our own responsibility to quickly check if the document you actually provided, we verify it with actually what we have on the internet. We check the company house, we check your information, we check, where, if your the office you say you own is actually at the location you say it is. And we check if you've sent money to countries that have been red flagged by the FCA. We check different things. Maybe you've traveled to that place before, and we check where you said you would be, the countries you've told us you'll be doing business with. And if we see, like, okay, you start doing businesses with some other countries, and it's suspicious and it's frequent, we actually have to look at it and escalate it. So in all, it actually keeps the financial industry safe,
Mm.
and it actually
Keeps the
keeps the world
integrity
safe, because
together.
it helps us to reduce the money that flocks into the terrorism world, or the money that has been stolen from on underdeveloped countries, and the likes. So
Oh, interesting.
it reduces those fund misappropriation, and you know all those things.
Mm. Well, it's quite interesting to see that you're quite resourceful. I am a finance professional myself, and we utilize, KYC and AML checks, in all of the work that we do. And, it's fantastic to have, somebody in into music business, right? And also being resourceful in the financial world. Kudos to you on that. And okay, so speaking of Nigerian music industry, Nigeria has been the heartthrob of the world. It has been Nigeria is like the the
With a hot
music
cake, man.
pulse, the hot cake of the world right now, especially with the Afrobeats movement, right? So can you give your 2 cents about the international recognition we're having, and where do you see Afrobeats going in the next couple of years, say 5, 10 years? Like, what do you see the Afrobeat movement doing?
I see Afrobeat actually even still dominating the mall. Do you know why I said it? Um,
Why?
if you check your YouTube now, that's what the whole African community is talking about. Every African country, it's Afrobeat. It's the domination of Afrobeat. Now, you can either win people by love or by fear. Now, they actually love Afrobeat sound right from time. But now that some countries are even now scared that, or won't it overshadow theirs, that will still keep them on their toes and still be tracking the Afrobeat journey, either by podcast or by anything. It will be increasing the numbers. And now that um, Nigerians actually migrated in large numbers in a couple of years, from like 4 years ago till now. So, and if you notice if a Nigerian gives you food in his house, he's going to play Afrobeat to step it down for you. It's part of the way we used to welcome everybody. Yeah.
Exactly. The entertainment is massive.
So like everybody is a PR
I'm just so good
already.
with,
So,
yeah.
and now that they're penetrating, and don't forget that Afrobeat is multicultural. We get the source of the sound, the source of the lyrics, and the source of the language from different cultures. And one culture has numerous dynamics that you can use to write a song, talk less of the numerous culture. And when you start mixing things together, you start getting different sounds. That's why you see Omale has a sound, Victoni has a sound, Burna Boy has a sound. Even if you check if you check like 3 levels down and you go to the streets, you'll see some hot artists that are still gonna emerge. And if you notice something in the entertainment industry in Nigeria now, there's this kind of togetherness that we're enjoying now, that everybody's promoting for everybody. Everybody's trying to make sure, you see Don Jazzy promoting for this person, everybody's trying to push the band, promoting for, we are now realizing that, yeah, the spotlight is on us. Now is the time to take charge, and as many people as we can push out there from Nigeria, we need to push them out there and make sure that we this our spotlight, will make use of it, which is what Nigerians are actually doing now. See Kiss Daniel's new 2 songs now. I saw something about Kiss Daniel, that Kiss Daniel deserves a Grammy. I saw it on X. That's an
Oh,
agenda that
really?
can still be pushed. And
That's
there's
very
nothing saying
possible.
that
But
Kiss cannot still win at a
which of the
Grammy.
songs? Which of the songs are you talking about? You say he has 2 new songs. I know there's one about
There's one twerk.
you
There's
have
one that is
money. You
twerk
have
twerk.
money.
No, it's a new
So
song. No, he has not released.
okay,
He has not released them. He just dropped the snippet.
okay. Oh,
Check his
really?
page.
Wow.
Yeah, check his page.
Oh,
They're hard.
interesting. Interesting. Like
So
Afrobeat
to
movement
me,
is massive.
Afrobeat is a sound of numerous sounds that people cannot be tired of it. Portable has its own side of
Wahala,
Afrobeat.
wahala, wahala.
Black Bones has his own side of Afrobeat.
Mhm.
So Afrobeat is flexible. So we can't easily get tired of it, because if you get a smooth Afro depression now, you get something from Burna Boy, you get from Davido, you step it down with Wizkid, even if you still want to go back, you still go back to old songs of One Day and still be cool.
Yeah, but what's really interesting is seeing how foreigners have really come to accept and love Afrobeats. There's sometime I think earlier this year I was invited, on a boat party somewhere in London, right? And then I met with people from South America,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, there's some Spanish guys there as well. And then if you see the way they were rocking Afrobeats, they were singing Whiskey, Ashake word for word, and I was scared. I was like, "What? What is happening here? These guys have taken this thing beyond,
Yeah, because that's what
the
their radio
dimensions
stations
I
are
ever
playing
thought."
now.
It's it's
You
it's
can walk in Lido and you hear a Burna Boy song.
it's really massive. The
You know,
Afrobeats movement is massive. And then I think another thing that's interesting is seeing the fusions, right? I love the fusions of Afrobeats. Afrobeats, you're having fusions with Amapiano, with other genres from like different places in the world. Afrobeat is fusion with R&B, with
yeah.
pop, pop in the US. Look at Selena
And that
Gomez
made it
uh,
easy. That
and
made it
Rema.
easy for them
It's,
to accept it.
it's,
That made it
yes,
easy for them to understand the sound, because now
yes.
we can mix it with what they understand to create something.
Mhm.
See, Lonely at the Top with her. See her verse. She
Yes,
came down
yes.
on an Afro level, but at the same time, she still gave us the R&B
I think
style,
the rhythm, the vibe, it
the
was
rhythm and
massive.
the
You got
vibe.
Rema with Selena Gomez. That song is a global hit,
And they're
right?
happy they can
Calm
actually jump
down.
on the Afro song, which is cool.
Yes, like it's massive. I think like was it like 2 years ago, Justin Bieber, did something with Wizkid and is it Thames, and even Drake as well. Drake as well did collaborations with Thames and Wizkid as well. So like the movement is really massive, right? So but then for you, if you were to pick like your top five Afrobeat artists, in no particular order, who would those be? The top five.
My top five. Okay, my top five would be uh
Like the hottest
the
exports from Nigeria right now.
okay, the hottest export on my
That's
own
easy.
fave.
Yeah. on your playlist. I'm not talking about people you have emotional sentiments about. I'm talking about like yes, because I know Nigerians, right? You lot have faves. You have like fan clubs. Like I don't identify with any fan club. I only identify with good music. That is me as a person, right? So I love anybody promoting excellent music from Nigeria, right? But so, for example, for me, when I checked my, it's towards the end of the year now, I checked my YouTube music, I checked my Apple Music, and then they have this summary, this rundown for the
Yeah, the
year,
summaries.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and I saw that my number one was listening to artist was Burna Boy, number two was Ashake. I can't remember three, four, five. But so, in terms of the hot exports that you're feeling the music right now, right, and also take into cognizance global recognition, who would those
Global
top five be?
recognitions. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Who
I'll
would those top five
say
be for you?
that number one will be Ashake,
Okay.
and the reason is
I because you went to OAU.
no, the reason is because of the language barrier. The reason is because we've been having this noise about language is stopping Olamide from getting some recognitions of from
Mhm.
doing some things. Now, Ashake still killed it anyway. So for him having those numbers and still having that strong fan base outside Nigeria, that's why he has to be number one. Number two, I'll say Burna Boy. Yeah,
Brother.
yeah,
Brother's doing some great work.
Brenner makes cool moves, like legit moves. You understand? That's what I love about him, and moves that make sense. Uh, my third would be Rema. My third would be Rema. Yeah, yeah. I love Rema. But my fourth, did you say four or five?
Five.
Five. My fourth would be Arista.
Arya Star. Are you trying to teach gender equality now?
No, not
Gender
that, not
balance.
that, not that. I'm
fully
saying
fully your
based
legs
on the
there.
influence I know they
Yes,
have here.
exactly.
What
Yeah,
they make,
Arista, like she's had some collaborations with UK artists, and then she's been on like the UK top 40.
yeah.
I follow this. Yeah, I follow the
Even
musical
in
trends,
Germany,
man.
Netherlands, she's
Yeah,
killing it.
she's top of the charts. She's
hmm
really
Then
still at the charts, and it's
the last one, I think the reason I'm putting the last one is it might not be in one of the best exports or top exports now, but I know it
that's
has
that
to
person's on your top five, right? Interesting.
yeah,
Don't
it
worry,
has to be.
you're gonna have honorable mentions after the top five. So let's have number five. Let's have number
Okay.
five.
Number five, who would I put in number five? Let me see my playlist.
You wanted to add somebody just now. Do you want to push that person to the honorable mentions? Feel free.
Okay,
Feel
let me say
free.
let me
Feel
say
free.
Omali. Let me say
Okay.
Omali.
Okay.
Omali. But the person I
Omale.
actually wanted to mention was Victoni.
Victoni. Wow, interesting. The
Victoni.
guy
Victoni
has a unique style and
Victoni is Victoni
vocals.
would
Yeah.
go hard. Victoni would
Yeah.
go hard.
He has
That
unique
guy would
vocals. Yeah.
very, 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 very bad. And he's a good writer. He's a awesome writer.
Um,
Like you and even his voice. I appreciate his songs, not just love his songs. I appreciate it's just what Rema is doing. I appreciate that he's doing what he's doing. Because those are the
yeah.
reasons. See, the more we have all these unique sounds, those are the things that will
Mhm.
keep Afrobeat more alive. The
Yes.
more young people that
You have to
actually
dare to be
quickly
different.
pops up, give them shawarma today, give them chicken goujon tomorrow, just mix it up with them. Don't let them say, oh,
Variety. Variety, the spice
no,
of life.
yeah, varieties. Don't let them say,
Spice up
oh,
your
we
life.
know how Afrobeat is, and this is how it. No, 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 no. May they not get us. You understand?
Yeah.
They won't be tired. We will disturb
Also,
them. I like the fact that now, if you think about Nigeria, you can actually first think about Afrobeat before thinking about crime. you
exactly.
know it's
Exactly.
a very, very sweet thing because it's actually helping us that are actually outside Nigeria. That's why a whole lot of us are actually pushing the agenda because while I was in Cyprus, yeah, there are some times they do not want to give Nigerian homes, same as in Turkey too. just don't want to give Nigerian homes because of the bad name and everything. But
Yeah,
now when you
it's
think
crazy
about
the bad reputation. It's really
bad
crazy
reputation
for
and
what it does to
everything,
you.
yeah. So even if you
I
don't
do
know
have
why
my
they're
own
doing
crazy
like
story
that,
on that.
eh?
I said I do have my crazy story
You do,
how the bad
yeah. Go
reputation
ahead,
rubs
go
off.
ahead, go ahead,
Don't worry.
go
Like
ahead.
I want to hear your honorable mentions before I talk
Okay,
about it.
so
Don't
my
worry.
honorable mentions would be, um, like I said, Victoni. Um, who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Okay, people I actually think that can still take over. Um, oh no, before that, Wandeko. Yeah, Wandeko, please. Wandeko before Victoni. I mean, sorry, I've
OG
rearranged.
before IG.
Ah,
The
OG,
OG
like,
before IG,
ah,
right?
damn it. That Wandeko, yeah, is one of the guys that I will listen to and listen to and listen to, and I won't, get tired. You notice that Wizkid and Davido are not on my top
Oh
export,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. Why? Why do?
Be- because a whole lot is changing now, yeah,
Okay.
and a whole lot is going to change. So in terms of the at the moment stuff, yeah, at least for this year, yeah, I'm building it on that. For Whiskey didn't really do much this year. But,
Are you sure the
the
Whiskey
whole thing.
MC are not going to come after you? Are you sure the
No, no,
Whiskey
no, no,
MC
no,
are
no, no.
and the 30 BG?
Whiskey needed a rest. No, Whiskey needed a rest this year.
Okay.
Whiskey needed a rest this year. Generally, in terms of our best exports, yeah, definitely Whiskey and Davido are going to top it. You understand? But for this year, right now music is as it's happening. Before you know it, another
I see the hot.
wherever. Yeah.
I see
So
the
I'll give
hot.
it to Wandeko. Okay, then that's where Wizkid, Wandeko, and Davido are gonna be. You understand? So they are
Interesting.
actually always there. They are always there. But the people that are actually making it, they're actually like they're actually them Rema are actually drilling hard now for us.
Yeah,
Burna Boy is
they're very,
actually drilling hard for us now at the
yeah.
moment.
It's
You
interesting.
understand?
I think Burna Boy performed at was it uh some international soccer events.
Is
I
it
don't know, was it
UEFA?
UEFA Champions? Yeah, UEFA Champions League final, right?
Yeah,
Rema was he performed at the Ballon d'Or ceremonies,
yeah.
right? Davido performed at the World Cup.
World
It's
Cup, yeah,
interesting, yeah, to see Afrobeats, being, performed, being presented at the global stage, at the very peaks of the global stage, and
yeah,
it's fantastic. It makes you proud to be a Nigerian, to identify as a Nigerian, to identify as an African. To see that the Afrobeat movement is like really growing places. But mind you, you have the mainstream Afrobeats, and then you still have, genres of Afrobeats that are like alter crews, like the alternative music, pioneered by the
alternative,
people,
yeah,
yeah, people like See Me. I think
yeah,
Kule used to be like awesome alter crews, but I think
yeah.
he kind of
It
he
switched a
switched up the
little bit.
style. Then okay, people like See Me, people like Aladipo,
Still Lady
those
Donley.
yeah. So what do you think about those guys? Like they are like another industry on their own.
No, they're
They
not like another industry on their own. If you notice the way Afrobeat is, we have people that sound like this, we have people like that sound like this, and we have people that sound like this. And we now have people that, okay, I want to sound like this. Let me bring two of the way Simi does this. Let me bring one of that. Let me sound like let me use Ijesha small here. Let me use, so that's how Afrobeat is. All those genres just still makes the whole industry complete. That's why they will not still understand how it is, because you have a Chike that sounds that way, you have a Portable that sounds this way, you still have someone like Lil Kesh that sounds the way it sounds. So there are some people that they grew up listening to Lil Kesh, or they grew up listening to Wanda Cole. See, Oxlade said he grew up listening to Wandeko, so Wandeko had a great influence on his sound. So now all the sounds that we now still have now, a lot of people will still, a new generation will now still pick from those sounds, build on it. So it will still keep on building new sounds because someone might mix. See, Chinko was mixing Chinese.
Yeah.
That is another style. So they are actually doing their group like Simi now. Simi has an audience, people that love highlife, people that love melodious songs, people that love indigenous songs, alternative songs. She can still do her own she can still do her R&B. People that they still have their own fan base, and those kind of songs tend to feed us with good content. Those kind of songs are the songs that have the good lyrics. So now by the time you've done Fuji Small, you want to put some vocal dexterity into your thing. You move into R&B people, the way they sing, you put time there small, all those things. So it's just a full industry that we'll have, which we are actually enjoying now. Don't forget, we still have the songwriters, we have the promoters, the managers, the event planners, all these people that are on the ground doing their work, the PRs, the NEDU and the likes, everybody playing his part. So you see that, the whole engine of everything is coming from Nigeria. The
It's like a
200
whole
and
big machine.
almost 300 million people. You're putting the engine, they are the engine which resonates outside that we are listening here. You
Interesting.
understand? So that's
I
why
do get that
so
perspective.
far Nigerians are keeping it hot. You will disturb them now because you have Nigerian everywhere all around the world. At least
Yes,
your friend, your
exactly.
white friends now, at least they will have heard one or two Afrobeat songs from you, yeah.
Definitely. I'm a
And
big
like,
ambassador of Afrobeats. I think I like got into some sort of like argument with somebody, when she told me that she does not like Afrobeats. I'm like, oh, why don't you like Afrobeats? It means you don't like me. And then she's like, oh, what? Are you Afrobeats? I'm like, yeah, I'm an ambassador of Afrobeats.
some
You
people
get
don't
it?
like
It was
Afro at
funny.
first listening. Some people
Yeah,
don't
it
like
was funny
Afrobeat,
that day.
and it depends on the introductory song. For instance,
Yes,
if
it
you
does depend.
if if you go and meet your white friend and she likes semi kind of song, and she likes I'm sorry R&B, and you play Afrobeat in R&B form to her, she would connect easily. From there,
Easy.
she can listen to more. From there, she's already understanding the sound. But if you go
Yeah.
and if you go and play a portable or a fast song to someone that likes violin tempo kind of or violin sound kind of song, she might not
Yeah,
quickly connect. And
you just give them the fusion, the Afro fusion that connects to their own like musical background,
and
and they
sometimes,
pick it up from there.
what fascinates me is that sometimes you will hear a random song, fast beat song that you don't expect a white person to like, and they're just gonna like it, and they just want to do that move they are doing there. So the way
Yes, so
music
it
is,
depends.
it's just
Yeah, music has gone a long way, and in clubs, right? A lot of like white dominated clubs, they like EDM, that's electronic dance
yeah,
music. So,
electronic, yeah.
yes, like I was like out of the UK recently, and then I was in one of those clubs, and I saw that the DJ was playing Afro beats, as EDM. I was like, what is happening here?
They
How
do
did
fuse
Afrobeats
Afrobeat.
just,
They
yeah,
can still fuse
yeah,
Afrobeat with EDM.
into EDM house, techno, it was, they were just doing that, their dance. I'm like, oh wow, like interesting. I'm proud of this. I'm proud of this. Let's not forget my crime story, right? So I work as an auditor, right? And then there was some time out in some client office, and I was having a conversation with one of the staff members, and then the staff member asked me, "Oh, where are you from?" I said, "Oh, I'm from Nigeria." And then the lady, she's half Jamaican, half Polish, right? And then guess what she told me? She said, "Oh, wow, you're from Nigeria. I hear there are a lot of criminals from Nigeria. Is that why they're bringing an auditor like you from Nigeria so that you can detect our
What?
crime?" I was like, what the hell? Like,
For
okay, so
real?
that you can easily detect fraud. Yeah, fraud was the word she used. I was like,
For you.
what? Like, I felt really, really terrible. But then I had to, if you're in a professional
Mm-hmm.
environment, you have to compose yourself and all.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Guess what I did in that kind of situation, right? I had to educate her. I told her, wait, I see that you've been hearing a lot of negative press about Nigeria. Let's have a conversation. What do you think is the population of the UK? She was like, oh, she did not know. I was like, okay, let's check the internet. I think it was like around 66 million thereabout, right? And then I asked her, like, what do you think the population of Nigeria is? She was like, it should be less than the UK. I said, no, I'm sorry. It is, we checked, it was more than 200 million, right? After that, the law of numbers, right? If you have like a lot of people, more than 200 million, you would agree with me that you have the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? She said, yes. I said, good, right? So we have a large population spread. So we have like, both the good, the bad,
Large
and the
good people,
and
large
you
bad
and you
people.
know and you know that negative news sells faster, right? Yeah. She's like,
Yeah.
okay, yes. And then let me tell you something. In Nigeria, we have a culture of excellence, right? Nigerians
Mm-hmm.
have the best doctors in the world, the best nurses in the world, the best
Mm-hmm.
IT experts in the world, the best
Mm-hmm.
accountants in the world, like myself, right? But then you
Mm-hmm.
don't get, good press for being the best accountant in the world. You don't get good press for being, one of the best doctors in the world unless come up with some miracle innovation or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, also we also have the best fraudsters in the world, right?
Yeah. So
Nigerians,
you
just
have
have a
them, you have
way
every
of
sector in large
being,
quantity.
yeah, of being the best at anything that they do, whether it is positive or negative. And then she was like, "Oh wow, thank you very much for educating me about the culture, blah blah blah." And then she was like, "Oh, she would love to visit Nigeria someday." And I was like, "Okay, nice, 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 good one." But then I think a lot of Nigerians, tend to react to these things in a very combative way. You get it when people say something that's not nice about where you come from, like you probably attack them. Don't feel attacked.
No, no,
Like
no,
spread the
you
love,
can't do that.
spread the love. Yeah, spread the love. And then I told her about Afrobeat. So like, oh wow, yeah, I listened to a lot of these songs. I did not even know that. Oh, a lot of this, guys are from Nigeria. I said, yeah, they are from Nigeria, and that is our musical export. It's yeah. So up Nigeria, Nigeria know they carry last.
So
The
that's you actually changing a opinion in
perspective,
just
yeah, perspective,
few
yeah,
minutes.
yes,
Now she
yes.
has another thing to say about that same country.
Yeah, about that same country. You get to, like bad news spreads like wildfire, but then,
I
the
think
good
for
press.
everybody outside Nigeria, yeah, irrespective of how oh, I don't like that place, or there's something you can take away from it, that's your country. And at any point in time, you should still try your best to still preach that light from the country,
Yeah,
because
it is on us to be good ambassadors of the
it's
country.
on us. Yeah,
Yeah, it is on us,
on
and
us.
I try my own very beat, I put in my work every day, I try to be the best at, anything that I'm doing. I try to inspire people, I try to put people on a positive path. I try to spread positive energy, right,
Mm-hmm.
every day of my life. So, and, me being that responsible individual, right, contributing
Yeah.
to an environment positively that I am in,
Mm-hmm.
I want to believe that, that is a good, ambassadorship of the country. The country should actually be paying me for being a good ambassador. But I don't get the flowers, I don't get the kudos that I deserve, right?
That's
So
so.
let's get back to you, right? So what are your
All right.
hobbies, your interests, how do you balance career and personal life?
Uh, um, my hobbies. When I want to relax, I like to play game. Um, play FIFA or NFS. And I watch the YouTube. I like to watch new things, like, okay, how to do this, how to do that. Then I watch the news. I like
How to
anything that
ask?
has to do with events. Maybe there's a war somewhere, or there's something happening somewhere. I like to be up to date. And at the same time, I'm into e-commerce too. E-commerce
Interesting.
business. I build e-commerce stores, you know so for young business entrepreneurs, that's one of the other ways that we're trying to connect to um black people, even here in the UK. There are a lot of black people doing excellent things, bro. So I try to, every time, that's why we can actually easily connect, you know I have another friend like that, Dayo. He's doing great stuff. So I like people that
Daya is friends
like
with Daya.
Dayo,
Daya is
Adedayo, Dayo Tej.
okay. Adi Daya is friends with Temidayo. It's a
Yeah,
Daya
yeah,
connection.
yeah. So
Interesting.
so there are people
Interesting.
doing a lot of good things here, which I appreciate. So what I do is for young business owners, I do help them to build e-commerce stores. You know,
Interesting.
you
Fantastic
know
stuff.
um the old marketing world and the old e-commerce world has already changed. So a lot of people are actually being able to set up their stores as young business owners and being able to market it, have a store. You don't have to own a wide website. You can just, have a place where you um have your own store where you can actually market from, do your promotions and the like. So it helps young, majorly black or African business owners to be able to reach out more and to increase their sales too. So
Interesting.
these are other areas that I actually spend my time on. So anytime I'm not working, I'm either on the system trying to check other ways of getting things done, or trying to help people get things done, or doing things for myself in terms of my e-commerce business too. So
Resourceful man.
majorly that's it. So
You're
now you
quite
get the picture
resourceful.
of what.
I say you're quite resourceful.
Yes, yes, I try my best to actually get my hands on things, because I realize that I've suffered enough on trying to get things done or trying to find people to help me to get some things done. So rather than just going through all those stress, and at some point, don't end up getting it done, why not I just learn it myself? If it's something that won't take
DIY.
my time, I just let
DIY.
me
Do it
get it
yourself.
done. Yeah, DIY, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Interesting. This
here,
is,
and again,
yeah,
apart from
it's
that,
very
here,
big.
it's a very big, you must know how to do a whole lot of things yourself, or else
Definitely.
uh
Definitely. You're on your on your own,
you must keep
right?
the brains open.
Yeah. So what skill or competency, right, are you proud of, but the world, is yet to know about? Like people really don't know about, but then it's a skill or
Uh,
competency you're quite proud of.
my skill and competence, I will actually pick four.
Okay. That
I'll
people don't
actually
know
pick
about.
four.
People don't, it's secret. It's secret, right?
Okay, people don't know
Yes.
about.
Yes. So for
Um,
example, for example, myself, right? I'm a great chef. I can chef it up. You know, like I have cooked for like large numbers of people, and they enjoy it. You know, both Africans and non-Africans. They enjoy my food, right? And it's something that I'm
yeah.
really, really proud of. He gets it, but not so many people know about that. But I
Mm-hmm.
could possibly open a restaurant a restaurant chain in down the line, because I am like a very big expert at cooking African food.
Okay.
So,
Let me see. Okay, I'm not gonna mention cooking because you already mentioned cooking. Uh, but I cook good too, though. I cook very, very good. Like
yeah, but
very
not as
good.
good as me. But not as good as me. So that's why you don't want to mention it.
Okay, I can say my relationship with people.
Okay.
I I have a very, very, very sweet relationship with people. I wouldn't say cool. I'm a kind of a person that even if I have issues with you, I don't still want to see you get hurt. So I'm that kind of person that will still look out for you, even if I'm not texting you day by day. I'm there watching out for you. And if I've told you that, yeah, I got you, even if you see, say I mess up, no think say I don't have you.
Okay.
For
Interesting.
instance, if
Interesting.
I say, oh, I'm gonna call, like, oh, blah, 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 and you don't see my call that time, don't think I'm not out there still trying to, do things in your favor.
Yeah, in your favor.
So
Interesting.
if I actually
Interesting.
like
So
you, I like
can you
it.
please say you got me and you got the King James podcast, so that we have it on record?
Nice, nice,
So that
nice.
you
I
got.
got you, bro. I got
Oh,
you for
nice,
real,
nice.
for
We
real,
will hold
for
you
real.
up to it. Listeners been
Yeah,
listening to Wildie, and Wildie is saying he's got the Kingdoms podcast.
yeah. The
So
only
committed
the
yourself.
thing about me is the only thing that puts me off is, or if you maybe take me for granted or stuff. But I just believe
Nobody
that.
likes that.
See, I believe
Nobody likes that.
something. You just have to treat people good, because there are some times that you just realize that, okay, you might be uncool to me now, but everybody just has their own, bad sides and all. And if
Yeah.
I check myself, I just decide that I have. So why not just, tone it down a little bit, and on a lighter mode. And I understand that some terrains don't, you can't be cool in some terrains. You, as per Niger boy, you know when to switch up your, you
Yeah.
know
Code
but
switching.
all
Code
in all,
switching.
I'm just talking about, if I say, yeah, I got you, for real, I do.
That's nice. That's nice. That's a nice one. So what advice do you have for the younger generation? The up and coming young people, right? Based on your life experiences. So what advice you have for them in order for them to succeed in life?
The first thing I'll say is, if anybody's lucky to have two parents or one parent, at the point where they still have them, they should actually listen to some things they say. So that's just the first thing, just normal day-to-day stuffs. Normal things you pick up, like, oh, don't do it like that, do it like that, don't do it like that, do it like that. You understand? So from that, you can actually pick some things and to actually easily stick. It's better than formal education that they have to sit you down, put you on the head. Then two, again, is the ability to actually be more resourceful at the younger age.
Mm,
Always push, like there's something in the energy level, because right now, if you notice that the internet has made us and the people who are in the age 15s, we do watch the same thing at the same time, we experience the same thing at the same time. If they check their phone, they are seeing the same thing you're seeing. Back in the days, it wasn't like that. There was still places kids can go, and places elderly people cannot take kids to. So everything is running at a faster speed now. So for every opportunity one has to just make use of that opportunity. Or even if, definitely, you will actually lose opportunities. Definitely, even the richest man in the world, didn't just get his first opportunity and made use of it. So the ability to actually pull up yourself again and not give up on life, and actually saying that, oh, I've made a mistake here, let me just not make the mistake again, because either I like it or not, there might still be another opportunity in front that you still have to go do that thing again. But if you don't learn from what you already um the mistakes you already had, you still keep on making mistakes. So generally, it's just to increase the energy, you know just increase the energy and open the mind, learn more about anything, it could be useful.
mm,
So
interesting.
if you don't learn more, you can get stranded at some point in your life and not knowing where to move to. But if you are more resourceful, you have options that you can quickly build on, basically.
Mm. Yeah, nice perspective. I key very much into the aspect of learning because for me, I feel like the learning ability, the learning culture is something that has been very pivotal to my own personal success in life. I pride myself in not knowing everything, but then knowing how to get the knowledge to do anything that I want to get into. And it's actually very vital to be hungry for knowledge. While we're growing
Yeah,
up, they used to say not knowledge is power, right? Right. And then, but then I feel like no, it is applied knowledge that is power. You
applied
get it?
knowledge.
Yeah, applied knowledge that is power. So
Yeah,
the previous guest who is, um an entrepreneur in the music business industry, right, has left a
yeah.
question for you. That is
All
Mayowa.
right,
Do you want to hear the question he has for you?
all right.
Drum
I love to
rolls.
hear. I love to
Boom.
hear. Shoot, bro. Shoot.
So he says, where do you see the world heading to in the next 5 years? generally, like economically and politically, what is the trajectory? What is your projection of where the world is heading to in the next 5 years?
Um, I believe there's a tussle of power in the political structure of the world right now, and there are some determinants that actually there are some things that are actually going to be the determinants of what's going to happen. For instance, the war in Israel and the the alignment and the allied forces that will be coming together to form treaties or to form laws. Now, a lot of countries were not friends before, but this war has brought them together as friends. And now it's actually some restructurings are happening in the perspective of people. That's in the political world, though. So a whole lot of things are going to change, both internally in individual countries, um, democratic elections. New leaders will change, and a whole lot of this. So now we should expect it won't be like something like, oh, we just see everything, but we should just expect change. And economically too, we all know that power is shifting to Asia. And in terms of the economic world, every little thing I see on the street now, made in China, made in China, even all this e-commerce stores, a whole lot of these factories, they are in that side of the world. So I believe that with the 5G and the internet now, and the increased usage of the internet, a lot of new connectivity possibilities will actually emerge in terms of sales, in terms of, new countries will actually um, um, new countries actually emerge in terms of stronger countries. But major countries too, they're actually going through their own turmoils now. Each country has their own economic issues now, be it the strong or the weak. So I believe that this moment is the determinant of a whole lot of things that we'll see as a result in the next 10 years. Because a whole lot is happening now in a single year than it used to happen before.
Mm. Interesting dynamics in at the global stage. Uh, let's watch and see what unfolds, at the
Folks,
global
yeah.
stage. Yeah, and finally, what question would you love to leave for the next guest to answer?
Okay. The question would be, um, what what do you think is the real essence of life? What do you think was the real essence that made that 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 begot the creation of life? Was, if you want to actually think about it now, what's the main essence of life? Do
Hmm.
we is there even any essence of life? Is it that we're just um the creator just decided that, okay, they have to leave, and later decided that, okay, now they have to die too, so let them just be living and be dying. What, from his own perspective, what does he think the essence of the entirety of our existence is?
Creation or evolution? That's a tough one for the next person. I don't envy the next guest, anyways. Okay, so basically, let me recap your question. Like, what is the real essence of life,
Like,
right? That is how the life come to be, right? Is it true creation? Is it true evolution?
no, 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 I
Or
mean the real reason, like, I mean the real bottom line of the whole story. Say, okay, we came to the world, what
okay,
does it think it could be, or how does it see it? Like, what does it actually make sense to him? That, okay, why are we even doing what we're doing? Why are we
okay,
even coming to do all those things? How does it see it?
okay. Okay, what's the real essence of life? Like,
The
what's like
essence
the
of life,
purpose of
the
what's like the
purpose.
purpose of life? Like, why
Yeah.
are we here,
How
right?
do we even judge? Oh, has he achieved his purpose in life? Oh, as it, what is the what? I just want him to say it in from his own perspective,
In an open from an open-ended
open manner,
perspective.
a
Yeah,
open perspective. Yeah.
yeah. What is the real essence of life, and what's the real purpose of life? Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, we'll get to that bridge. We'll cross it. So, definitely, you have to. You will be the first person to get a video clip of the next guest answering that question. That very deep question. And at this point, I need to really, really thank you for your time today. I'm very, very big on gratitude and appreciation.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you very much, my brother. I wish for you greater heights, bigger
Thank you.
things, bigger blessings in your life.
Amen.
You will achieve. You are a high achiever, but then you will become a higher achiever, right?
Amen.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate. It was nice having me on your show, bro.
Okay, okay. Take care, brother.
All
Okay.
right.